Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is me Ray from raynavaz.com, and that was the preview of a cinematic trailer title animation that we will create in this tutorial. Titles are more than just a words. They create a strong impression to your audience. They set a mood to create anticipation for what's to come. In this tutorial, we will create a cinematic trailer title animation inside of After Effects. So if you want to download the project file of the preview that you just saw in the beginning of this video, so you can download the complete project file on our Patreon, and you can join our Patreon so you will have access to our previous and upcoming project file of the YouTube tutorials, as well as our exclusive and premium After Effects templates. So Patreon link is in the description, and if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing and also press the bell icon so you will get notified whenever I will post a new tutorial. So without further ado, let's jump straight into After Effects and get started. Alright guys, here we are in After Effects, and let's start by creating our first composition by clicking over here and rename it to main render. As our main render comp, width and height is 2560 by 1440. You can also go with 1920 by 1080 and 30 fps and 7 seconds long, and hit OK. After that, go over here and create another composition and rename it to text as our text placeholder, and properties same as our previous composition, and hit OK. Alright, now take the type tool and type in the text that you want. I'm gonna type cinematic trailer. Select the selection tool and align it into the center like this, and for the font I'm gonna use this TT Lake, and I'm gonna use that extra bold, and you can download this font from the link in the description. Now after typing your text, simply go back to your main composition and right click over here and create a new solid layer and rename it to BG for background, and hit OK. Now go into effect and preset window and search for color gradient, and drag and drop this effect on this solid layer and change the color. Let's change the yellow to somewhere around that dark color, and to change this green, simply select it and change it to somewhere around here and hit OK. Now for these remaining two colors, simply select this pick whip and select this color, and select that pick whip and select this color. Alright, now change this point right over here and drag it somewhere around here like so, and go over here and fit to the screen. Alright, now go back to project panel and go into assets folder, and here we have this smoke. Drag and drop it here and hit S on your keyboard to scale it up like so, somewhere around here, and change its blending mode. If your blending options are not visible, simply press F4 on your keyboard, or you can click right over here so the blend mode will show up, and change it to this classic color dodge like this. So it's a bit intense, so select this layer and press T to reveal the opacity properties and change it to somewhere around 50%, and this is how the background will look like. Alright, after that, drag and drop this text right over here. Alright, now select this text and go into assets folder, and here we have this reflection map. Drag and drop it here and go into effect and preset window and search for motion tile. Drag and drop it here and change the output width to somewhere around 330, and click on this mirror edges. Now make sure you are at the very beginning of your animation and add a keyframe on this tiles center keyframe, and go at the very end of your composition and drag it like so. Alright, now select this layer and right click, pre-compose, and rename it to reflection map, and make sure you select the move all attributes and hit OK. Now go into track matte option and select this pick whip and parent it to this one. So if you are using the older version of After Effects, so you have to select the track matte option. Alright, now go into effect and preset window and search for CC glass effect and drag and drop it here. You can drag and drop it on this reflection map layer and go into surface and change the bump map to text, and change the softness to 30%, and change the height to -30, and change the displacement to 500, like so. Now again go into effect and preset window and search for CC Globalize effect and drag and drop it here on this layer, and go into blobbiness and change the blob layer to text, and change the softness to 5%, and change the cutaway to 0%, like this. So this is how it look. Now we want to change its color. Simply go into effect and preset window and search for tint effect, and drag and drop it here, and change the black color to somewhere around that color, somewhere around here, and change the white color to somewhere around here, like so. So you can play around with this. I'm just doing it to show you how you can do that. All right, now right click over here and take a new solid layer and rename it to Saber. Hit OK. Now go into effect and preset window and search for Saber effect. So that Saber effect is a free After Effects plugin from Video Copilot. So here's that. So you can download it from the link in the description, and that is a free After Effects plugin. All right, now select this effect and drag and drop it on the Saber layer. And before we proceed, we have to go into this text layer and select this text and press Ctrl C to copy it, and go back to main render comp and hit Ctrl V to paste it right over here, and drag it down below this Saber layer, and select this Saber layer and go into properties. Let's make some room right over here. So first of all, you have to go into custom core and go into core and change it to text layer, and change the text layer to this cinematic trailer that we just copy and paste right over here. All right, now change the preset to energize, and change the glow intensity to somewhere around 31%, and change its color to whatever color that you want. And let me go with this color and hit OK. Now go into blending options and change its color to add, and select this text layer and hide it, and select the Saber layer and make sure you are at the very beginning of your animation, and change the end offset to 0%, and add a keyframe on end offset, and also add a keyframe on mask evolution, and go at 2 seconds right over here, and change the mask evolution to 180, and change the end offset to 50%, like so. All right, now hit U on your keyboard to reveal both the keyframes. Now select the Saber layer and press Ctrl D to make a duplicate, and change its color to whatever color that you want. I'm gonna select this cyan color, like so, and select this layer and hit U on your keyboard to reveal the keyframe properties. And after that, go at the very beginning of your animation and remove these keyframes from the end offset, and change its property to 50%, like this, and change the start offset 50% as well. Simply add a keyframe on start offset and go at 2 seconds and change it to 100%, like so. So these two layers are gonna start from the completely opposite sides and move around the text, like so. All right, now go at 1 second and 15 frames and select both the layers and press Shift plus T on your keyboard to reveal the opacity properties, and add a keyframe on both the layers and go at 2 seconds and change the opacity to 0%. All right, now hit U on your keyboard to close the properties, and this is how our text animation will look like. All right, now our title is ready. All right, now go into project panel, and here we have these particle layers. Drag and drop it here and hit S on your keyboard to reveal the scale properties and scale it up somewhere around here. And these are the particles. And go into blending option, simply hit F4, or you can also click on these toggle switches and change its blending mode to classic color dodge, so that will merge in the background. And go into effect and preset window and search for Gaussian blur, and drag and drop this effect on this particle layer and set it to 8%, like so. Now go into project panel, and here we have this lens flare. Drag and drop it here and change its scale by holding Ctrl and Shift, and that will scale up by proportionally and change its blending mode to add like so, and drag it down like here. And to change its color, simply go into effect and preset window and search for hue, and drag and drop this effect on this layer and click on this colorize and change the colorize saturation to all the way 100% and change the hue to match with the colors like so. Let's go somewhere around 270, looks fine to me. All right, and close its properties, and now click on this toggle switches and make all the layers 3D, and right click over here, new, and create a new camera and hit OK. Again right click over here, new, and take a new null layer, and to move its anchor point into the center of the null layer, simply hold Control, a command on your keyboard, and double click on the span behind tool, so the anchor point will be moved in the center, and align it into the center like this. Alright, now make this null layer 3D as well and rename it to cams control. Alright, and select this camera and select this pick whip and parent it to this null layer. Now select this null layer and hit P on your keyboard and change the position to like this. So here we have one more thing to do to create a depth between our text and background. Simply select these two layers and hit P on your keyboard to reveal the position properties and change their position to somewhere around, and select both the layers and change their positions to somewhere around here like so, and hit Shift plus S on your keyboard to reveal the scale properties and scale it up like so. So now when I move that text, so the background is feel like it's far away from our text, and go at 2 seconds and select this cam control and add a keyframe on position properties and set it to 0 at 2 seconds, change it to 0 like this, and go at the very beginning and change it to somewhere around here when our text is disable, go out of the frame, and select both the keyframes, hit F9, go into graph editor and change the graph like this, go back, and this is how our text animation will look like. So if you want to stick to that, so that's totally fine for you, but I want to take it one step further. Simply right click over here, new, create a new null layer and move it to the center of the layer, and also move its anchor point into the center as well. All right, now select this layer and rename it to depth and make it 3D, and go at the very beginning and select this previous null layer and go into parent link and parent it to this depth layer. Now select this null layer and hit P on your keyboard and add a keyframe on position, and go at the very end of your animation and drag it behind somewhere around 500. Let's set it to 500. Oh, minus 500 like this. All right, and this is how it will look, kind of a text moving backward like this. So that effect create kind of a depth into the title sequence. All right, now we have one last thing. Right click over here, new, and create a new adjustment layer and rename it to CC like this, and go into effect and preset window and search for CC lens effect and drag and drop it on this CC layer, and go at 1 second and trim that layer by dragging it like so, and hold shift on your keyboard and change the lens size to 100%, and go at the very beginning and add a keyframe on size and go at 1 second and change it to all the way 500% like this. Alright, now select this layer and hit U on your keyboard to reveal the keyframe properties, and select to all the keyframes and hit F9 on your keyboard, and this is how our final title animation will look like. Now select all the layers, right click, pre-compose, and rename it to title underscore 01 and move all attributes and hit OK. Alright, now go at 1 second and 15 frames, maybe 2 seconds, and right click over here, create a new solid layer and rename it to film bars. All right, make sure this solid layer is selected and double click on this rectangle tool, so that mask will be created. And go over here and turn on the title action save and double click on this mask, and you will see that arrow is pop up, and hold Control plus Alt on your keyboard to drag it proportionally, and go over here and invert it so that film bar will be created. All right, now again right click over here, new, and create a new adjustment layer and rename it to CC for color correction, and go into effect and preset window and search for curve effect and drag and drop it on this layer, and make sure this CC layer is below or film bars, and change the curves to somewhere around here. Again go into effect and preset window and search for noise effect and drag and drop it here, and change it to 4% and uncheck the use color noise. And one more effect called sharpen, drag and drop it here and change it to 7% like this. And this is, now let's ramp preview it, and this is how our final title animation will look like. So that's it for today guys. I hope you have found this tutorial helpful, and if you really did, please like this video and share it with your friends. And if you want to download the project file, so link is on our Patreon and you can download from there. And I will see you in my next video. Till then, keep practicing, keep growing. Bye.